So we are on the fourth Sunday of Advent, adding a fourth piece or fourth story to the scene of the Nativity. And today we added the wise men, and their story is taken from Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. Now, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, wise men came from the east to Jerusalem, saying, "Where is he who was born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and have come to worship him." When Herod the king heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he inquired of them where Christ should be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for this is what the prophet wrote. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are no longer least among the princes of Judah, for out of you shall come a governor who will shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, carefully inquired of them what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search diligently for the young child, and when you have found him, bring me word again, so that I may come and worship him also." When they heard the king, they departed, and the star which they saw in the east went before them, until it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with great excitement. And when they came into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented gifts to him, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But being warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they returned to their own country by another route. And after reading and focusing on the stories of the individual stories in the nativity scene and reading about the wise men, I've often wondered why they've included it in with the nativity, because it clearly states in verse 11, and when they came into the house, and the story of his birth, they wasn't in a house. And it also refers to Jesus as the young child. It wasn't a baby wrapped in a manger. It wasn't a baby, but it was a child. And even Herod said, and he sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search diligently for the young child." It wasn't a young baby, it was a young child. And then whenever Herod realizes that the wise men didn't come back and tell him where Jesus was, so that he could take care of the problem, that it was let's see, chapter 2, verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, was utterly furious, and sent forth and killed all the male children who were in Bethlehem and the surrounding region from 2 years old and under. So Jesus had to have been about 2 years old. So I've often wondered why the wise men was included in with the nativity. And I usually leave my nativity up, because in the church, growing up, we didn't celebrate it, but in other denominations, I learned that the wise men, they celebrate the wise men, I think it's Epiphany Sunday. That's a week and a half. It's the Sunday in January, whenever they celebrate Epiphany, and they celebrate the wise men seeking Jesus that Sunday. So I usually leave my nativity up, but simply because this is during Advent and I kind of want to catch it during the Christmas season, I wanted to go ahead and put the wise men in there, because usually I put them up after Christmas, because Jesus is already born. But because we're focusing on the stories, I wanted to put that in the middle. And there will be a second video during this week before Christmas, where the stable, and they'll all be put together, but it'll be just minus Jesus. He comes on Christmas morning or Christmas Day. So, but that's just, and I hope that you've been enjoying each one of these pieces, because looking at that, each person has their own story, just as we have our own story in what Jesus is doing. Each one has their own individual piece. Each one has their own relationship, and with the angel was interacting with each and every one of those pieces. A lot of nativities growing up, they didn't have the angel to begin with. As you can see, that one's different. I added it separately. I bought it and I included it because the angels is an important piece of the story as well. I hope that you have a great rest of the day. I hope that Advent and Christmas is going well with you. If you're struggling, just know that there are others that are struggling, and you're not alone in this, and that it's okay. It's okay to be struggling. You don't have to have it all together. You just give yourself permission to walk through and seek Jesus, because he's the reason. That's the reason that he was born, was so that he can be with us every single minute, every single day, and guide us and direct us, and that he's always with us. I hope you have a great day, evening, night, whatever time you're watching this. Just know that God loves you. He loved you so much. He sent Jesus, which is the reason for the season. And if nobody's told you, I love you. We'll talk to you later.